Anne asks, what's the best type of exercise for losing weight? And Anne, thanks so much for the question. It was a great one. It's really hard to answer that. When it comes to losing weight, there is no one type of exercise. If there was, quite honestly, everybody would do it. And sure, you probably have heard the things of high intensity interval training or HIIT training is better than steady state training. Yes, you need to do weightlifting. No, it's not going to get you big and bulky. Yeah, you want to do weight training because it's going to help you increase your metabolism. Of course, you want to do mobility and flexibility training so you don't get hurt and so your body feels balanced. But the honest answer is, if I had to give you one specific answer to what's the best exercise for losing weight, the answer is this. It's something that you would enjoy doing and be able to do 3 or 4 times a week at least. Something that you're going to find enjoyable. Something that's going to feel like play. For me, one of those things is martial arts. I do that 2-3 times a week, and I also enjoy weightlifting, so I do that as well. But the key to your success, Anne and whoever else is wondering the same thing, when designing an exercise program, find stuff that you like to do. Because honestly, life is too short to be doing a whole bunch of stuff that you hate doing. If I had $1 for every person that came to me and said, I need to figure out how I can run more. And I'll say, well, do you like running? They're like, no, I hate it. Well, if you hate running, don't start there. Or don't do it. Because you're going to hate it. It's not because you lack motivation that you don't run. It's because you hate it, right? So there's so many other ways. If you like dancing, dancing is a great way to lose weight. If you want to play basketball and you like that, play basketball. If you like martial arts, by all means, do it or take a kickboxing class. The best tip I can give you is think back in your past, and was there a form of physical activity that you enjoyed doing? Soccer, basketball, softball, whatever it was. Tennis, was there something that you enjoyed doing that you think you can do consistently 3 or 4 times a week now? And if there isn't something that you can think about, then it might take a little trial and error. Maybe attend a few classes, take a Zumba class, take a kickboxing class, try to play basketball and see if it's something that you enjoy doing. Try to take tennis lessons. Something that feels like play is really what you're looking for. Something you're not going to worry about how much longer do you have to keep doing this for. When you're doing it, you just feel like you're in the moment and you're enjoying it. And that's what exercise is supposed to be. Exercise is supposed to be enjoyable. So hope that answers your question. I know there's a lot more specific stuff when it comes to exercise that we're going to get into, but that's the best answer I want you to think about right now. It needs to be something enjoyable, because if you enjoy doing it, that's how you're going to spend 4 to 5 hours every week doing it consistently, and that's how you'll burn calories, that's how you'll lose weight, and that's how you'll do it enjoyably. Joanne asks, I work a lot during the week, and after the day is over, I don't have the energy to exercise. What can I do to fit exercise into my schedule? That's a huge problem a lot of people have, Joanne, is, when we in the year 2016 have a lot of responsibilities, whether it be work or family or other activities. We just have so much, and it's not that hard to say that when our day is starting in the morning to when our day is over at night, our schedule is pretty much filled. And it can be really daunting to somehow figure out, where do I squeeze exercise in? So I think the key to fitting exercise in when you have a busy schedule, and this even goes if your schedule isn't quite as busy, but you're just having trouble getting motivated to exercise, I call it the 5-minute rule. And the 5-minute rule goes like this. Let's acknowledge the fact that the hardest part of exercise, first and foremost, is getting started. Right? Whether it be exercising at home or getting to the gym. The hardest part of exercising is just getting started. That's where the greatest level of resistance is. And usually once you start exercising and you get into the rhythm of the actual workout, it's a little bit easier to continue doing it because you're already there, you're already in the motion, and it's so much easier just to let yourself keep doing it until it's over. So if we're acknowledging the fact that the hardest part of exercise is getting started, then here's a simple trick to get started. It's called the 5-minute rule. The 5-minute rule says this, that no matter what, make a commitment to yourself on the days that you plan to exercise and on the times you plan on exercising to just do 5 minutes. That's it. No more than that. So let's say you have a commitment to go to the gym on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tuesday, 7 p.m., you get to the gym and you say to yourself, I'm going to do 5 minutes on the bike or something else that's easy. Maybe even stretching for 5 minutes. And say to yourself, I'm going to do 5 minutes. If I truly feel like I don't have the energy to do this, or I'm tired, or I don't feel good, or I don't want to continue, then leave. Keep your promise, keep your commitment, and go home after 5 minutes, because at least you got there. You can say to yourself, 5 minutes is better than nothing, and it always is. 5 minutes is always better than nothing. But chances are, when you get to the gym and you start doing something, you'll be more likely to say, well, I can probably do a couple more minutes of something else. And you can keep expanding it up until you get a 30-minute to 60-minute workout. This is a strategy that will help you slowly integrate exercise into your busy schedule and help make it a habit. Biggest mistake we can make is going from 0 minutes of exercise a day and trying to fit in 60 full minutes of exercise a day. That is way too big of a leap, and that's why so many of us burn out after such a short period of time. We look at that 60-minute workout ahead of us and go, it's just too daunting. But a 5-minute workout, much less daunting. So Joanne, that's how you fit it in to your busy schedule. Give yourself just 5 minutes a day and see how it goes. That'll help you get started, and that'll help you build it into your daily routine. The more I think about it, and the more I work with people, the more I realize when we exercise, you have kind of two options as far as how you would look at it. Number one, you can exercise to lose weight, right? We're only getting up off the couch to achieve a weight loss goal. And the second reason is we're exercising because of something that we want to gain, some benefit it has for us. And I know it sounds like they're the same, but they're actually very, very different. So what I want you to think about is, what motivates you to get up off the couch and exercise? Like, why do you exercise? If you're exercising because it's going to help you lose weight, and that's the only other reason, or because your doctor told you had to, or it's what you have to do to get healthy, you're probably not going to stick with it. But if you exercise because of some other reason, because it gives you something, that's where you're going to stick with it. Now, I know we filmed other episodes before kind of talking about this. In episode 4, I talked about the fact that the best exercise is one that you enjoy. And in episode 2, we talked about finding your why. And that's very, very important. Both episodes, the message in them is so important. If you haven't watched them, please check them out. But too many people exercise because they're trying to lose something. And instead, I think we should focus on what we're going to gain from exercise. So what I wanted to share is kind of why I exercise and what I love about exercise, because exercise gives me a feeling of empowerment. It builds what's called my self-efficacy, the ability that, the feeling that I can do anything I set my mind to, right? When I go to the gym and lift weights, for example, I have a certain number of reps at a certain amount of weight that I want to lift. And it's a challenge, but I always do it, right? I always set myself up to push myself just a tiny bit. Not a lot, not too much, that's stupid, but just a little bit. And every single time I get the number of reps I want and lift the amount of weight that I want, I'm proving to myself that I can do this. Every time I run a little bit further than I ran before, every time I push through one little obstacle, the voice in my head saying, turn back, every time I push through that, I'm proving to myself that I can achieve so much more than I think I can. And we always have this voice in our head saying that you can't do this or you can't do that. And every time you exercise and you push through that obstacle, that voice that says you can't do this anymore, you can't go on, and you do, remember that the next time you think you can't do something, because you really can push through it. And exercise, if nothing else, teaches us that we're strong, teaches us that we're capable, and it reveals our character, right? And I think the reason that so many of us quit is because we don't want to embrace this journey. All we're exercising for is just to lose weight. And once it's off, we're done. I think it's really important to understand that if you want to be successful, the only real person that you're competing with is yourself. And the only goal you have is to be better than you were yesterday. That's it. You know what a surefire formula for procrastination is? To compare yourself to someone who's leaps and bounds ahead of you and realize that you're nowhere near there, and then go to yourself, well, look how far apart, look how far away that person is, and look how high of a mountain I have to climb. When you start thinking that way, you're going to put it off because it's going to be uncomfortable and you're not going to want to do it. Hence, you're going to procrastinate. So instead of torturing yourself that way, Focus on where you are, and each day your only goal is not to look at where you want to be eventually, but your only goal is to say, I need to be better than I was yesterday. So when it comes to exercise, it means if you're walking, walk a few more steps than you did yesterday. If you're running, run a little further than you did yesterday, or run a little faster than you did yesterday. If you're lifting weights, lift a little bit more weight. Do it for another rep or two. Add another set in. Decrease the amount of rest that you have. Right? If it's yoga or flexibility, it's holding a pose for another couple of seconds, or being able to get down a little bit further, or getting that much closer to being able to do a certain pose. Focus on practicing being better than you were yesterday. And if that's your only goal, is to be better than you were yesterday, even if it's by a small amount, slow progress is still progress. And a year from now, you will be leaps and bounds ahead of where you were. It doesn't mean you're going to be at the level of that bodybuilder or that fitness model that you see. Don't worry about all that stuff. As we talked about in a previous episode, most of that isn't true anyway. But instead, focus on just being better than where you were the day before. That's all that really matters. And if you focus on that, you'll be much more motivated to actually get off the couch and do something, because your goal is to compete with you. And if you don't compete with you, the only person that's going to feel disappointed is you. If you want to make exercising into a habit, you want to look at the habits that you already do during your day and tack exercise right onto that. So pair it with that already established habit. And I guess to illustrate why this is so powerful, I want you to think about flossing. If you're going to try to make a habit of flossing during the day, when would you do it? When would you try to floss? I'm guessing it would be right around the same time you brush your teeth, because it only makes sense to add flossing onto the habit of brushing your teeth. If you already brush your teeth 2 or 3 times a day, just add flossing onto that. Well, that's kind of how you would think about exercising. How would you turn one habit into also a habit of exercise? So I'll give you some examples that work for a lot of clients. Some people, as soon as they wake up in the morning, first thing, they get out of bed, they exercise. They get into their workout clothes and they exercise. Before they even start the rest of their morning, they stumble down the stairs and start exercising. Either they go to the gym, they go for a run, they do something at home. That's when they would do it. They pair waking up with exercise. Instead of pairing waking up with coffee like so many of us do, like Folgers has us associate in our head, you just replace coffee with exercise, which might be hard for some of us, right? Another strategy might be doing it during lunch. Here's one that I've seen work really well. If you're driving the kids to school, as soon as you drop them off, you drive straight to the gym, or you drive straight home, and that's when you fit in your workout before you do anything else. So you literally pair getting home from dropping off the kids from school with working out. And the more your brain associates those two together, the more it'll become a habit. And after a while, it'll actually start bothering you once you get home from dropping the kids off from school. If you don't work out, it'll feel like something's missing, and that's what you want. Constant repetition, so it seems like it's a part of you. Some people pair coming home from work with exercise. So literally on the way home from work, they stop over at the gym and work out. Or as soon as they get home from work, that's when they start their workout, before they even start the rest of their evening. Some people make a habit of, as soon as they're done eating dinner and the dishes are cleaned, they go for a walk. They pair after dinner with walking. So however you're going to do it, pair something in your life that you do already with exercising. That's the key. Too many of us try to pair sitting on the couch and mustering up enough mental energy to actually go out and exercise, and it never works. Instead, pair it with a habit that you already do. That's how you're going to create exercise into a habit. I know it sounds so simple, but it is extremely powerful. Give it a try. When you're first starting out, especially when you're trying to put together an exercise program, I want you to remember this. Do 90% of what you love to do, and then fill in the rest, 10%, with what you think you have to do. And that's where stretching comes in. That's where mobility training comes in. Maybe weight training if you don't like to do it. Maybe doing some other cardio if you don't like to do it. That's the 10%. But the bulk of your exercise program should be something that you enjoy doing.